What's up everyone, my name is Tatsaigots and I will be taking a look at our last hunter here, Xbalanque, the hidden jaguar sun. So, this guide is going to come out right after Pins and Dolls, the Nox patch that is after the Bluestone Pendant nerf, so just keep that in mind that some of our builds today are probably going to be a bit different. I'll be changing them up with you and I'll be running you through that. So first off, it says that he's average, he's very auto attack dependent, and he has a very slow start. So versus a hunter like Neith, he's completely useless basically in lane. I actually recorded gameplay earlier today. It was me versus a Neith, and I got destroyed in lane. A little bit my fault. I wouldn't say that the Neith was extremely good. It was just I didn't play it very well. I was getting used to him not having the mana that he usually has with the Bluestone Pendant. So yeah, he's not really as strong as he was the last patch, but at the same time he still hits as hard as he did, but he just, like, leading up to it is just almost impossible. So he's back to the state in season 1 where people wouldn't pick him really, because although he had a really good late game, well, he just didn't bring much to the table in the earlier stages. So he's kind of like a Rama, but as far as his laning stages goes, his laning stage is nowhere near as good as Rama's. So we'll be seeing less and less of Xbalanque if that nerf stays and they don't rebuff it. So he has high single target damage. I was talking about that. He starts hitting like a truck in late game, and he has one of the best ults in the game currently, and I'll be talking about that as we get to it. But looking at his passive here, pretty straightforward. Any enemy gods that Xbalanque kills increases his physical power permanently, up to 30 physical power. So Xbalanque is that kind of god that you need to help him secure the kills. So that's why he has things like the dot damage, the extra, like the hard hitting, kind of like a Rama, but not really a Rama thing though. It's kind of unlimited as long as you have mana, so it's a little better that way. But with the pendant, like the Bluestone Pendant, I'm sorry, Xbalanque just kind of loses his season 2 spot and kind of falls somewhere around the A- or B rank, so, for me anyways. So next is his branching bola. This is kind of like Rama's, but it's not his main lane clear. It's just kind of like a damaging ability. So when Xbalanque toggles on this ability, his basic attacks deal additional damage. When the bola hits, it splits into 2 that hit enemies up to 30 units behind the target for 30% damage. On-hit effects do not apply, and pressing the ability again cancels toggle. So basically what this means is when he's hitting someone with it, it will branch into 2, and it does 30% of your attack, base attack damage, and then this damage right here. So does pretty good damage for poke, especially if you're just on the back 3 archers and you can put some poke on your enemy laner, then that's by all means that's a good way to poke the enemy without putting yourself out there too much, because it's just an auto attack, right? And it's exactly like Rama's. Although it says that it splits into 2, it can only hit an extra person once, so they can't be hit by that for like 2 times, you know, hitting them for 60% damage or anything like that. And as well, you can't crit anyone with them, so you're only critting the person that you hit initially. And this is a toggleable ability, obviously, and it's definitely great for boxing. If you have mana and you're boxing with someone and you don't have, neither of you have crit, then 9 times out of 10, if you have the ability to hit all your autos, then you will win the box. Yeah, as far as that goes, that's about it for that one. You can use it for lane clear. I wouldn't suggest it because of the mana intake. For lane clear, I would be using poison darts. So basically, Xbalanque shoots 10 darts in a cone in front of him, dealing damage with each one. So it's kind of awkward because it doesn't go through enemies, so you need to kind of position yourself, and you're always going to miss that one minion, and like all of them will be hit except for that one minion, and you'll have to take them all out. I don't think there's really ever a time that it will fully clear the wave completely. I know it at one point it will clear the back minions, I'm pretty sure, like the archers. I think it will clear them, but as far as the front minions go, I think they'll always be one shot. Not a big deal, but yeah. So, reading about this, an enemy can be hit by up to 3 darts, with the other 2 doing 30% damage. Enemies hit are poisoned, taking additional damage every 0.5 seconds and are slowed. So basically, it does initial damage and then it does damage over time. So when we're talking about the 30% extra damage, that is only that is only the initial damage. That is the damage per dart. So 110, you just add 30% per dart, I'm pretty sure. But it does not apply to the poison damage. At max rank, it will do 20% slow. So already you can kind of see how it's going here. You're gonna use your poison dart on an enemy god, and then they'll take the dot damage. They'll have a slow, and they'll have the initial damage, and then you use your branching bola to just keep hammering them until they die, basically. That's kind of how Xbalanque is, really. It's just, if you think you have him, he could just put the darts on you, and he could kill you even though he's dead with the dots, and he's pretty strong on paper, but as soon as you get out there and you try clearing the wave against someone like a Neath, all of a sudden your god is losing the lane. So it's kind of hard that way, but next is Rising Jaguar. Looking at this, you may think that it's kind of like initiation or something like that, but it's really not that good for initiation. It's just a dash. But it does give you a frame of CC immunity, so it should be used mostly as an escape or as a follow-up to poison darts. And the reason being is that it will do additional poison damage. So let's say you put the poison on any enemy, that includes minions, whatever may have you, and all of a sudden you use your 3, you do 20% additional damage with respects to the damage on this ability. Despite this, I do like leveling this up last. I like the additional damage on this, the additional damage on that, and then the movement speed on this. So Xbalanque rushes forward and then jumps into the air. While in the air, he fires darts at all nearby enemies, dealing damage to all in the area. Any enemies that were poisoned by Xbalanque take additional damage, and that's pretty much all it is. It's just a dash. So say you're caged by Odin, you can't jump over the cage, it's just a dash. You can't really do anything, so he's kind of weak like that, but you know, you gotta have some downsides to this god. Not really high scaling on any of his abilities, none of them go over 50%, so yeah, as you can tell, he's not really an ability based god. He's kind of all around the auto attacks. And lastly, Darkest of Nights. So Xbalanque shrouds enemies in darkness for 3 seconds. During this time, Xbalanque's basic attack range and his movement speed are increased. At the end of the darkness, any enemy gods moving at the time are stunned. So let's go ahead and say you're chasing someone down, but they're a little bit too far. You know, you pop your ult, all of a sudden they can't see anything, but you can. And your basic attack range is increased by 40. So instead of the base 55, it is now at a 95%. At a 95. Yeah, so it's pretty good. And if the range won't help you, then the movement speed will, because it goes up to 60%, obviously. And at the end of the duration of the blindness, if you're moving, you will be stunned by 1.5 seconds. And the only the counter to this is just by standing still. you can move around while it's kind of counting down like the dial, but once it hits that last dial you should stop, and that way you won't be stunned out. So it is one of the best ults in the game, I will give you that, because this gives him huge team presence, team fight presence, because you're just taking away their ability to see. They can only see what's in front of them, like less than 5 units, right? So, I mean, if you can't see, it's really hard to play, obviously. It also kind of gives you confusion. You could try splitting the enemy team up, and like the blindness can't be beads, but the stun can. So the blindness, if you're being blinded, don't try using your beads on it, because it won't go away. It's just kind of like a thing, just kind of an effect to give Xbalanque the upper hand. And finally, the stun, the 1.5 second stun, can be beads. So if you're looking to beads anything, you'll want to be doing it towards the end of his ult, not in the beginning, because it takes like it's not that long, it's like 3 or 4 seconds, but the stun is 1.5 seconds, so you want to try beating that by all means. So that, just gonna go ahead and take him into jungle practice now, and pick our standard Xbalanque. That's what he looks like. So basically, with the pins and dolls, this patch really hit hunters hard, mostly towards the bluestone pendant. So let's take a look at bluestone pendant. So restores 1.5% of your missing mana every 5 seconds. This is like a huge hit to them. It's going to be basically impossible to actually consider using this. So instead, people are going to start falling back to their old builds, which is actually Death's Toll, and then Devour's Gauntlets. You can opt to go into Ninja Tabby, Ikavul, Executioner, Rage, Cell, Death's Toll for Deathbringer. I'm not sure really what the optimal build is. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I just wanted to get this video out for now. But going back to Season 1, people would pick up the Warrior Tabby, and the reason being for that was because of the extra physical power, and then the extra penetration. The big thing was the penetration on the boots. So what that means is basically people who build protections, the more penetration you have, the less protection they have. So you'll be hitting harder, basically. Physical power kind of helps that, but penetration really gets through the armor. Physical power is just kind of more like your scaling and whatnot. So yeah, with this though, I still believe that he is a Ninja Tabby character through and through. Reason being is because he's an attack speed character. It's plain and simple. He's not ability based, he's not a Neath, nothing like that. He won't be super good with his abilities. He'll just kind of auto attack you to death, and you'll just say, well, where did my health go? It's kind of that sort of thing, you know. So yeah, that's kind of how it is. And why Death's Toll? Why not Mark of the Vanguard, obviously, Watcher's Gift, stuff like that? It's because it's the only thing left, really. It's either Bluestone Pendant or Death's Toll. And with that nerf to Bluestone, I mean, it's just really not worth it. Although it has the exact same, almost the exact same stats, except for the MP5. This gives you the extra 5 physical power, 5 extra physical power, and then it gives you this passive, which is hitting an enemy with a basic attack, restores 6 health and 1 mana. So it's definitely worth it, especially to pick it up on Xbalanque, because it has the, you know, like every in-hand you just gain health, a certain amount of health and mana back. So yeah, with that, I'll be trying to teach you right now how to clear a lane really quick. So they're coming down, and they'll meet our minions, you'll be wanting to just use your 2 and then auto attack them until they die. This is his toggleable ability, that's his number 1. This is his 3. Now, if you use your 3 and then you stand still, he'll just stand still like that. But if you use your 3 and you move a direction, he'll go whatever direction you want him to. He could go around in a circle, whatever have you. So again, it's really difficult to play as that Xbalanque. The lane clear and whatnot is just really awkward, and the problem really with this is that you'll get aggro so often. Every kind of ability that Xbalanque has that he has to use to clear the wave, he'll be just getting the aggro from the wave every single time. So just be careful of that. So you got kind of wait until they spread out a little bit and then hit them with that. Just kind of hope that you hit them. But of course you're not going to be able to hit all of them because just the line of sight, there's like line of sight issues. You can't always hit them. It's just plain and simple. So you're just gonna have to try your best. So against an enemy that has a straight line clear like Uller or Neath, then Xbalanque is really lacking in that department. So I'm just gonna finish off my build right now and show you what he kind of feels like late game.
Strength is on my side.
Get up to level 20. So his attack speed doesn't seem all that much, and honestly it isn't. And it's not even about the attack speed, it's just the massive damage that he does, which is 250. Right now you can see the line right here. This is where your basic attacks will land up to. It will stop anywhere before that, and that's 70 at the end over there. So I'm gonna pop my ult and show you just how far it goes. And I'm hitting him from here. So you get that for quite a while. It's extremely useful. As far as leveling your abilities up, I will go for poison darts before the lane clear, branching bolas for the poke and the additional lane clear. Rising Jaguar I would use 3rd, just because I want it as a getaway, right? I don't really want it for the damage, I just want to use it for the getaway. And lastly, the ultimate. So there's 2 situations that you would level your abilities different. So first off, you would level your 3 if you think that you have the lead and you can just kind of put pressure, a lot of pressure on your enemy laner. And if you can do that, then you can just use that over and over again to initiate on them and just try killing them. But if you want to play safe, then I will suggest that you level this up as much as you can, because it will give you the additional movement speed, and then you still have your dash, right? It just won't do that additional damage, and that was a big pop-up. My apologies for that. So as I was saying, yeah, you'll get the additional movement speed and you'll have the dash. The only difference is you don't have the damage. So I'm just gonna show you the difference. I'm gonna shoot him with my 2, let him die, and yeah, he does a lot of damage. Now I'll be using my dash, and I dealt 300 damage. Gotta remember that number. Yeah, this new patch, not the biggest fan. I don't really like how they changed Drybear's voice pack. I actually don't like it that much. He says he likes it, but whatever. So gonna go ahead and use my poison darts, and I don't think it hit him. No, it didn't. That's a shame.
I hope they enjoy being owned.
So yeah, again, something about his voice pack. They tried varying it up a bit. They added a few voice lines. You know, I don't find anything bad in that. They tried changing it up, and I just don't think it worked out as well. Yeah. So.
I make this look easy.
So I did 373 damage there instead of the usual 309. So quite a bit. When you do get hit with that 3 and the additional 20%, you'll see they kind of glow red. Yeah, they have a red glow. I don't know if you saw, but there it is. So with the additional speed, you'll be able to run really, really fast. And if you were paying attention, this is my passive. Every time you get a kill, 1 light will go up, and these are permanent stacks. They will never go away. The only issue is that the maximum amount of stacks is only 6. So see right there, 304, 758, 295. He just does so much damage. He was a fun god to play with pre-patch, but once you watch the gameplay, you'll understand why I won't be picking this god up anymore. See, it can just kind of like maneuver it in a circle, but make sure you're putting Xbalanque the position you want him to go, or else he'll basically dash that way. If you want to go backwards, he'll go right back to where he started, basically. A little bit of distance, but take a look again and see how far he goes. So yeah, quite a bit of a distance. Very good. Yeah, I think that's it from me, everyone. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like, favorite, and subscribe.